Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for joining today. We are on Google Maps, but today's going to be all about JMRI. Haven't done a JMRI video in a while, but I'm excited about this one. I wanted to take a real prototype scenario and I wanted to represent it, completely remodel it, and build a mock-up of it in JMRI. And I wanted to show you how you can take a lot of actual prototype operations, and with a bit of skill and experience in JMRI, you can actually recreate a lot of these cool things. So today we're going to start in Meridian, Mississippi. And this here is one of CPKC, formerly KCS's local yards. There is a train that comes through here every day on its way to Artesia, Mississippi. That is the M266. And usually there is a bit of work here that's done in Meridian. But the trick is, it's not done by the M266. The M266 just passes right through town. There's actually an Amtrak station right there. How cool is that? But anyways, right here on this track, it crosses over the NS double track main right there through Meridian. And then this track makes its way all the way up to Artesia. So let's real quick slide up to Artesia. And let's see, there's Macon, Artesia. There we are. Artesia is a divisional yard for the Artesia subdivision. It's a fantastic yard. It's got a Y built into it, which I just love. Some local classification tracks on the left. Got some arrival departure tracks there on the right where they can build some full-length trains. This is the line out to Columbus. There's the big old steel mill right there, which gets worked by a local. I love this too. I'm definitely modeling this at some point in the layout in the future. And then, of course, I believe the Golden Triangle Railroad is out here somewhere as well. I can't remember where exactly, but I think it's off this branch line. It's been a while since I looked. Anyways, this is the focus. So that train from Shreveport, every day except Sunday, comes right here to Artesia, and it breaks. And they break it apart. They put all the cars on other trains. They run a local up to Tupelo. They run another local down to Macon. I know they run one all the way up to Corinth on the Tennessee border. And then, of course, they run one to Meridian. So here's the one that I want to represent today. I've built a staging. The staging track, sorry, let me get back to Artesia. The staging represents the train coming from Shreveport. I've got M266 comes to Artesia. It breaks in Artesia. We build a local train, which I just made up because I don't know the symbol for it. And then that local train is a road switcher. And what it does is it goes all the way down to Meridian, and it switches any of the industries with trailing switches. So like as it goes to Meridian going south, it won't switch this one. But when it comes back from Meridian, it will switch this one because that's a trailing switch. And so what I've read and seen and heard from local people is that that's exactly how the train operates when it goes from Artesia to Meridian. It just works trailing switches, waits in Meridian, picks up local cars or whatever, and then makes its way back either the same day, usually same day, but sometimes the next day. But this is where they store those local cars. So as we bring a train in, I've also modeled in JMRI a track here where we can drop these cars off, the ones that we're going to take back with us. There's also a local yard, which is right over here, where we can drop any cars going to places in Meridian or other NS places, etc., etc. There's also another short line interchange right over here. You can see that as well. So yeah, lots of activity in Meridian. And we're going to model the whole thing. I'm going to show it to you here in JMRI. So let's go over there and let's take a look. All right, so here I've put in just the minimum. So we've got Artesia, Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi, Shreveport, Louisiana. That's just staging. It's 2 tracks for 2,500 feet each, 5,000 total. And then in Meridian, I'll show you the breakdown here in just a second. Same for Artesia. And then the wayside industries, all I've done here is this just represents all the industries that I wanted to just quickly model between Meridian and Artesia. Now, if I were going to really truly build this in JMRI, I would make each industry its own spot, or its own spur track within, you know, a few other locations, like Macon, for example, or another town there would get its own location. I wouldn't group them all into the exact same location, and that's because then, you know, while it would still switch them correctly, it makes it a little bit harder to know like which one you're going to get to first, kind of thing. So anyways, that's just a matter of preference. But our train M266 is waiting for us over in Shreveport. So here I've just got everything selected, but there's the 2 tracks. Let's see. Let's do show cars. All I did was add some box cars just to make it simple. But yeah, we've got, what is it, 40? Yeah, numbers 48 through 92. So like 45 cars-ish are all sitting there in Shreveport on track 1. Nice. All right, and then after that, let's go to Meridian. So in Meridian, which remember M266 does not go to Meridian, it goes through it. What we have is we have a local yard, so as the train comes into Meridian from Artesia, it will drop off some cars in the local yard. Currently you can see that it's already used. And then it will also dump some cars into this hold yard. Now what this represents is just a classification track where it can drop cars, and these are the cars that it either picked up and it's going to take back to Artesia, or it has picked them up and it's going to take them, or it has not yet delivered them and it's going to take them back because it's, going to the industries that it passed because of the direction of travel. So some cars here will be brand new pickups, some will be cars that we still haven't set out, but we'll store them here until we run the train the other direction. In Artesia, let's pull that up. We've got our local yard, 1,000 feet. We've got the Meridian turn track. So this is, I just made a simple name for this. This is where M266 will drop off all the cars that are going to go onto that train to Meridian. So any car that's going to the local yard in Meridian or going to the industries on the way or back from Meridian is going to get put on this track. And then, of course, once cars are picked up and they need to go back to Shreveport, they get dumped on this track. And then M265, which runs every day except Sunday from Artesia to Shreveport, will pick up cars here and head back. Now, of course, with restrictions, I did not do schedules, so I had to do some restrictions. This is just to make sure that, certain trains set out and pick up. Like you don't want the M265, you don't want M266 to set out cars here because the cars just came from Shreveport. So you don't want them to go there because then they'll just go right back. So if you're not going to use schedules, you got to use these restrictions to have some control over where cars, can and can't go. And then, of course, Wayside Industries, the way I labeled these, just did northbound 1, 2, and 3, southbound 1, 2, and 3. This basically means it's only switched by a northbound train. And so if I edit this real quick so you can see, it's selected only for north. So the train has to be going north on its route or it will not work this industry. And that's because when it's going north, this switch will be behind it. So like a great example is, pretty sure there was one. Yeah, so this one doesn't get rail service anymore, but if you're heading north this way and then this was a spur track, the spur track's behind your train as you're heading north, so this would count. Another place is this one right over here. If there was a switch steel right there going to serve these, then that would be one that could count as a northbound industry. Or of course GeoCycle, which I showed earlier up near Artesia. That was, yeah, right there. This, here you go. Because of the layout of that switch, only a northbound train can switch that one. So it's industries with trailing switches for northbound trains. All right. Now, back to the goodies. The last thing to point out here with JMRI, these do have different lengths. They also have different amounts of cars that are coming in. And yeah, we just, for now I just kept it simple. We just did box cars. I didn't do anything special. But only one train works these. Let me show the routes real fast. So we've got M266, M265. Those are real prototype trains. These are the two names that I made up. The trains are real. I just didn't know the symbol, so I made it up. Local, Artesia, Meridian. Local, Meridian, Artesia. So we build this train in Artesia. It runs to Meridian, and then it terminates. And then we build this train in Meridian, and it runs to Artesia and terminates. So, if you're doing this on your model railroad, you can build this train, terminate it, and build the next one and terminate it, and do that in one session to simulate they did it on the same day and even the same shift. Or you could split it up into 2 shifts or 2 days, however you want to do it. There's some flexibility there. But yeah, some locals don't run every day. I do believe the one from Artesia to Meridian, if I remember correctly, I think it's only 3 times a week. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. But I am going to go into considerably more detail about this idea of running away freight from one location to another and then holding it at that location before running it back, specifically for like a road switcher. I am going to make a more detailed video on that specifically using the KCS Greenville sub because I have been waiting to do just that on the KCS Greenville sub. And so as soon as I get that set up, I'm going to let that be the more detailed video to talk about how to do that with schedules. This one I just wanted to more show like, hey, you can take an actual prototype idea and you can model it. So the last thing we'll do here, we'll look at some switch lists that I've already built and terminated. I've already run all these trains one time, and then we'll close it out for today. If you have thus far enjoyed this idea of exploring real prototype operations and how we can model them in JMRI, and you want to see some more, then leave a comment or a like, or share the video, or subscribe if you haven't already. And I would be happy to do more things like this. This stuff is pretty fun. All right, let me get these spreadsheets up for us. Test files. So we've got 266, 265, and then the two locals. All right, here we go. So 266. This was the one that came in first. All right, so it pulled all these cars in. It pulled them all in Shreveport. So track 1 Shreveport. I have some details didn't print on the switch list because I forgot to reconfigure it to the default. I do apologize. Like the car numbers are not there and the current location is not there. It just says what track it's in, but that's in Shreveport. It does tell you where it's going. So it's going to Artesia. These first few cars are going to the local yard, and all the rest of these are going on the road switcher to Meridian. All right, so we go drop them off. Just notice a few car numbers. Oh, that's right. You can't because they're not there. I do apologize. Anyways, then in order, we would first run Larmy. So it has all these pickups. Notice they're all getting picked up from the Meridian turn track right here. Some of them are going to southbound industries. Some of them are going to the local yard in Meridian, and some are going to the hold yard. What do you think is going to happen with all these cars in the hold yard? Oh, they're the ones that are going to get delivered to industries on the way back, all the northbound industries. All right. But since I'm not using a schedule, some of these actually will not actually get delivered and they'll just come right back. That's one of the reasons I use schedules, is so you don't ship a car somewhere only for it to just come right back. Just my personal preference. You don't have to have schedules to have fun. And then, of course, there's 5 cars that we are going to pick up from, from the industries, from the southbound industries. So we got a few we're setting out. We got a few we're picking up. And then, of course, those are the 5 we're setting out along the way. And then we drop off the local cars, drop off the cars for the tomorrow or the northbound, and then we go build the northbound. So Lemire is the northbound. Notice it picks up a few at some northbound industries on its way back. But yeah, most of the cars it ran with are just going to go right back to the Shreveport track because there wasn't enough space to deliver them. And yes, if you don't use schedules, that stuff kind of happens. But honestly, it's not a big downer. I don't like it just because I like to be really specific, but I've had a ton of fun with the North Texas Beltline, and I don't do schedules on the North Texas Beltline. So you can have a ton of fun without worrying about some of these finer details. But notice we do have 6 pickups, 3 setouts, and then everything is going on the Shreveport track because if it's all getting picked up or worked in this area, it's definitely not going to get delivered in this area by rail. So it's going to go back to Shreveport and go to the rest of the CPKC system. And then that is where M265 comes in. So M265 pulls all these cars out of Artesia Yard, out of the Shreveport track, and runs them all the way to Shreveport Staging where it terminates. So all we had was a staging yard, a couple of tracks in Meridian to represent Meridian's yard, a few industries, and then the yard at Artesia, a couple of tracks there. And that's it. We were able to model a complete real operation, 266, 265, and then the Meridian turn or Meridian local, whatever they call it. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I always like talking about JMRI. It's been lots of fun for me. But if you want to see more exploration of prototype ideas or how we can use JMRI to implement actual operations within reason, of course, sometimes there are a few compromises, then yeah, just let me know. I'd love to do some more. Specifics are fun. They give us things to discuss. Anyways, thanks guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you guys out there next time.